by itself is not going to do anything. But in combination with education, addiction counseling, not through us, we wouldn't do it. We'd work with Daytop or the county, but make sure that that is in place is a multifaceted approach. And yes, by us doing it, it's not going to make a difference. I agree. But what can make a difference is if we set a model for the rest of the state of New Jersey, if we set a model for the rest of the United States of America about how a local community can take charge of a problem and propose a solution that other people can latch onto, then maybe we're onto something. If nobody latches on, yes, all the effort will probably be for naught. But again, I said that we need to take somebody needs to take a first step, and we have the opportunity here. The second thing I wanted to address is the fact that the kids will get it and still do it, and yes, that will happen. But about 6 weeks ago, and nothing private because it was in the news, there was an underage drinking party that was busted up in Morris Township. And I won't go into how many kids were there and what was happening, but our underage drinking possession ordinance was applied. And I guarantee you that a certain percentage of those kids, yeah, they'll probably drink again, but a good percentage of those kids will never touch alcohol again until they're legal, able to do it, or older enough to make a better judgment for what they should be doing. So the application, I think, of our alcohol law very recently in Morris Township did have the appropriate effect as it was intended. And if we have a similar legislation on the books for vaping and kids are caught, some kids are going to keep on doing it, but some kids are going to be deterred by what we're trying to do and will stop. And that is the goal, to stop it early so they don't get addicted.
Just a couple of comments in response. Your comment that by withdrawing the ordinance we're sending the wrong message, I see it differently. I see it as the ordinance was brought up. I commend our police for seeing a problem and recommending a solution. I feel that as a community, we've really done our homework. We've listened to each other. We've looked at all the various aspects. And from my point of view, I feel like the message that I'm getting from our residents is they don't want this particular approach to dealing with this problem. They don't want our children who are using to be dealt with through a law enforcement perspective. They prefer these other approaches. And so to me, we're listening to our community. And something that we haven't talked about at all, if you really want to make a difference on this problem, something that should be looked at is advertising, because the advertising that's at play here is very similar to the advertising that took place over the years with cigarettes. It glamorizes something that's terribly destructive. It omits critical information, and to me, a really good intervention would be to, and kids can do this. I was an educator for 30 years, to teach kids how to interpret, how to recognize advertising techniques and what's going on here. If the advertising on vaping was changed in the same way that the advertising on cigarettes was changed, and by the way, it took decades and a lot of expensive litigation to get the advertisers to make those changes, you'd see a tremendous impact on usage among teens. So that's more of a long-term view, but in the short run, I think there's skills, like if I was working with my own kids in my own house, I'd be teaching them about advertising techniques.
Well, all of this is very important, but it sort of strays from the central motion. So I would ask that someone call the question.
Yeah, so Mr. Mills, since this is for final consideration, does it get open to public commentary, or does the motion supersede that before we get to that point?
Well, ordinarily, it would be open for, there would be the motion to adopt and a second, and then you would open it for public hearing. But what we have is a preemptory motion to rescind the introduction, so we don't get to the public hearing on it if that motion carries, because then the ordinance is no more, at least on this agenda.
Okay. So if the public has commentary on this, it sounds like they will have to make it during the public commentary portion of the meeting.
I would think that would be appropriate.
Okay. Shall we proceed? Yes?
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Arvanites.
And just to be clear, a yes vote means what?
Means the motion, the ordinance disappears.
A yes vote means the ordinance disappears. Okay.
Mr. Arvanites.
Yes.
Mr. Jarvie.
Yes.
Mr. Mancuso.
Yes.
Mr. Wilson.
Mrs. Wilson.
Mrs. Wilson. Sorry, Mrs. Wilson.
Yes.
Mayor Griswold.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think you have seen small-town politics, small-town discussion, and small-town people discussing things in a rational, reasonable manner, and noting that people do have different opinions. And I'm very, very proud of my colleagues here tonight, every one of them. Thank you.
Thank